Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is June 25th, 2023. Howard, how is San Diego treating you so far?
Oh man, done 5 great days. I had a triathlon today. I ran on the beach, I biked down the Strand, and I golfed.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, how's Greece?
Greece is beautiful. I mean, the food is really tasty almost anywhere we tried it, so I'm really enjoying myself.
Greek stocks are on fire too.
I don't know, let's see. Great. Yeah, it seems like to be near 52-week highs. Let's see, 52-week.
All-time high?
No. Multi-year high, like 5-year highs.
Oh my goodness. People say there's not enough breadth. I mean, you got Greece. That's about as wide a breadth as you can have.
You don't need bread here, you know. You eat other things.
I mean,
Yeah,
tells you what, I mean, I'm sure he's still crazy government there, but relatively it's been a stable government.
Yeah, I think they just had elections yesterday.
Yeah.
So
where are you staying, in Athens?
no, I'm in the northern part on Halkidiki.
Are you homesick yet?
Well, I'm going back in next weekend. So
You miss the US?
a little bit.
And have you been able to follow the markets easily?
Oh yeah, no issues. Just, you know, there has been like usually 9 to 10 hours difference, but it hasn't been that bad. I think one can definitely do it from here. Follow you.
All right, so walk me through what we're seeing.
Last week, what we saw is basically a slight pullback in most stocks, which is normal considering the big push we had in the previous 4 to 6 weeks. It's normal to see some form of consolidation, pullback to a rising 20-day moving average, even a 50-day moving average in some stocks. And as the S&P and especially the Russell 2000 pulled back, we saw a lot of the momentum names pulling back more, which is normal. They are higher beta names. It's normal to pull back 2 to, you know, even 4 or 5 times what the S&P pulls back. So it's a normal price action within a bullish environment. So far, I think the market continues to climb a wall of worry. There's every single week you can read a technical or a fundamental reason why the market should not be that high and should not be going up, but it is going up, and the end of the quarter is coming up this week. And we might see some performance chasing just due to window dressing, managers just trying to show on their books stocks that have really outperformed year to date or this quarter, which has been mostly big tech stocks. They can, even last week they're still showing relative strength, as you can see. Metals, for example, up last week. So this is what we're basically seeing, like the same teams are working. AI probably needs some time. This is what I'm talking about when I say momentum stocks tend to pull back a lot more during slight market pullbacks. I mean, they had like what, 48 to 32, 16 points, 30%. This is normal for momentum stocks on a really slight pullback in the S&P towards its 20-day. You know, when you trade momentum stocks, you need to know what you're getting involved with.
Yeah. The relative strength of like commodities has been strong. Natural gas, cotton, wheat for the last few weeks during this little pullback.
Yeah, I mean, they're inversely correlated. Let's see what the US dollar is doing. Basically going sideways.
Yeah.
But
corn had a big pullback. And then what with the oil this weekend? I wonder what the futures did with Russia, all the news in Russia.
But that news in Russia is basically a non-news. It lasted less than 24 hours. Everything's back to.
No one even knows what it really was.
Yeah,
just Twitter yelling at each other. I think if you could, let me just share the a chart for 1 sec.
Okay, I'll stop sharing, then you share.
Just for a sec. Just
Go
gonna,
ahead.
how do I do that again? I got to share screen. Host disabled.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, you should be able to share now.
Yeah. All right. I thought this was interesting. Can you see my screen here?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can.
so you've got so it's
Wait.
not all tech. It's not all tech. Can you see this?
Yeah, the Goldman Sachs
It-
non-profitable tech.
Yeah, the non-profitable tech, you can see it's hardly still 30% bounce, but you can see it's like in the scheme of things, the real peak.
Yeah.
Other than a lot of the big tech, the big cap tech stocks, if you're unprofitable tech, it's just a fart in a windstorm, right? So it's not, this rally has been great for the leaders, you know, and I was talking about this in some other, I'll touch this up, but this is a really important point that I want to get at. Let me stop sharing. How do I do that? Is it back to you?
Okay, now it's
Stop
back.
sharing. Yeah. So I think that's important to see because the private markets, like everybody thinks, you know, they're starting to get bullish again, but this is very specific to public profitable companies. So the big pullback quickly in the IPO index, you know, one that I was watching, because you want to see this follow through, which means there's really a little more risk on. But with rates not at zero, I think people have to be really understanding of this. You know, people will eventually get comfortable buying profitable growth companies and maybe even paying up for them. And there'll be some speculation around the fringe as you're seeing with AI or AI tickers but if you're unprofitable, you're not going to get away with it. People would rather put their money in interest bearing for the most part. This is not institutionally really owned. What was this? What Carvana pull back to? But you see, so there's speculation on the fringe, but they're not going to stick if they're not profitable. If you look at that Goldman Sachs index, a lot of smart people look at that index, and the same thing's happening in private markets. Tiger was trying to like give away their portfolio, right? And no one would take it. So now they're selling individual pieces. So tech is working, but it's got to be profitable tech because they're the companies that have money to pay $1 million an engineer to match OpenAI. So it's not all created equal right now. And the index is moving because the 7 largest stocks, Tesla, Nvidia, Facebook, you know, they make up 25% of the index. So understand that like the pullback could get very vicious in non-large cap tech. And obviously if so you just gotta understand what you own right now, because there is a lot of competition for marginal dollars in interest-bearing securities. There's some global strength happening, right? And luxury brands. So like you saw Greece, even Italy, like a lot of the European Europe pulled back strong, huh?
Yeah, Europe also pulled back, and obviously Italy. That's why I'm going
What
to all the.
about Argentina? What about Argentina? That had been a strong stock. I think it's just continued on.
Yeah, super strong. I mean, the inflation is more than 100% on an annual basis. So it's.
I think because it's commodity based, maybe Brazil too.
Oh, Argentina, I'm not sure. It's
incredible. I wonder what's in that index. It has to be a lot of commodities, banking.
Banks like this one, GGAL, and there are a few others.
Yeah, so not a lot of tech.
But Brazil is mostly commodities, yes. So
Yeah.
on a monthly, it's just, as you can see, just going sideways forever.
And then China looked ready to go higher, but then it's,
I don't know.
took
Chinese stocks,
the
rallies are not sticking there, Howard, as you can see.
that got ugly quick.
Yeah. Every time it pops, it just reverses very quickly.
No, and they're pumping money too. So and then the other thing I was going to say, US, it got that debt ceiling deal and then quickly spent 700 billion in under fiscal responsibility program. So this is a tough market. So it was a great rally, just kind of be prepared to protect some of these gains if things reverse quickly. Anything setting up nicely on?
I mean, quite a few stocks had a pullback in the past week or so, and if they bounce, they're they could offer really good low risk entries. The question is, are they ready to bounce? Because you need to see them. You need to see some evidence that buyers are stepping back in control. For example, Unity software that Apple is going to use in their goggles pulled back to its rising 20-day moving average. So if you see it on Monday trying to bounce above its Friday's high, you might try it for a quick trade, just risking with a stop at the lows on Friday. There are a lot of stocks that are kind of looking like this, that had a big rally then pulled back towards their 20-day. So now you can try to to swing them with a really tight stop. We don't know which ones are going to work, but the ones that work might offer good reward to risk. And there are quite a few of them, that are kind of looking similar. Like if you have names that you really like that you wanted to own, now that they pull back towards their 20 or 50-day, that's a low risk entry, meaning you can risk like $1 to potentially make 4 or 5.
So swing trade. This Confluent I've followed for a while. It's pulling back.
Confluent, the same. I mean, if it doesn't hold here, it can pull back, even towards 30. As its 50-day catches.
I'm looking for 30 and a 50-day, but the Confluent, where's Snowflake at? So there's some setups, right? Like
there's some setups, but as you can
people
see,
that chase their stock markets the stocks aren't getting away from you. The FANG had the run, but a lot of other stocks are still stuck in base.
Even the FANG
looked interesting on the gaming side because that deal didn't get.
Which one, Howard?
Take-Two on the gaming side, TTWO.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely setting up near its what is this, 52-week?
Yeah, that one. But again, it's just a mess on a weekly. But setting up pretty good. Maybe because the Activision Microsoft deal was called off. But there's stuff showing up on the screens that I set up for myself, 1 year, 2 year highs.
Yeah.
And but again, that non-profitable tech thing that looms. There's so many still unprofitable.
But this should not be a reason for you to be.
No, I'm just saying
out of the market.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that it's not. This is not all created equal. I live on both sides, the private and the public side. And I think the private side's really struggling because of that index, right? Like there's just, if you in a rate environment of 5%, why lock up your money for 10 years in unprofitable venture, right? And so there's a lot of money locked up and committed for the next 3-4 years into venture, and they can't even get at this market, right? So there's still a lot of like stress in the system that is not seeable when you just look at the market.
But that's bullish, Howard, because bull markets are typically low correlation. You don't need to have everything to go up. If everything is going up, basically means we're in a bear market because everything will go down and go up together. And now we're seeing some.
No. I mean, I haven't changed my opinion there. You got to buy the weakness here and like look for setups. This is not a bear market anymore. The bear market is mostly an unprofitable tech and venture. Like I said, Tiger, even despite all these huge drawdowns, is looking to get out. So it's painful. And what's energy?
It's pulling back, Howard. I mean, this is bullish for tech, I guess, but it's. I guess the market is saying we don't really expect big economic growth, but the companies that have been able to cut costs and they have a moat, they can continue to grow faster than the market, and the market is rewarding them by sending their stocks much higher than the S&P this year. What was the other one? Let's see, the metals. Yeah, kind of similar. The commodities have been pulling back. Everything that last year outperformed this year is underperforming, and vice versa. Tech was the big laggard last week, and this year is just leading.
I think the other two bigger is, obviously the more every day now there's an Ozempic pill. So I think Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk continue to just crush.
Oh yeah, I mean, what is this new
They
Oh,
got the
new
pill
all-time
for this.
highs. Wow, look at this.
Look how stretched it is
It's
from
a
its
such a slow-moving
rate.
stocks, but it's so steady. What was the other
Not
one?
still moving. It's doubled since 22. I
Yeah,
mean, the worst bear markets of all time for tech, and Eli Lilly doubled,
look
and
at
then
this.
Novo Nordisk doubled.
What's interesting is that we continue to see strength
It
also
was a
in
bull market right through the bear market.
exactly. And as you know, last year many people were bearish on housing, probably for good reasons, as rates skyrocketed. But so far, year to date, home builders, they're among the best performers, uh, which I probably think is probably one of the biggest surprises so far year to date. And
Yeah.
XHB, it's almost back to its all-time high. And then some of the individual home builders they've been already there for the past month or
Wow.
so.
Wow. That was a nice looking
So
chart.
it's really interesting to see that, on the back of 7% mortgage rates and supposedly stalling prices, but then again the probably the demand is still overwhelms supply in many areas, since they didn't build enough in the past 10-15 years.
The yeah, but look back at let me just see the Lilly. What's the market cap of Lilly? Novo's
Okay,
like
let's go back to
10 billion.
Lilly. I will go back to, so it's a really big company. It's 430 billion. So it's
Half a trillion, man. That snuck up on that was a $200 billion company. Now it's half a
really
trillion. Then
huge
Novo
float.
Nordisk, which maybe 90% of the world never even would know what that company does.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, 360.
Oh,
A-
fucking
And it's
Zempic.
growing much faster though than Lilly, as you
Yeah,
can see
well,
their number.
it's the perfect hedge against fat America. I mean, I'm an idiot because I just
Or the gym
never
stocks
dug
have done
into them.
well as well. What was the one? Life Fitness, or what was the other one? OTF. Let's see. I forgot the symbol of this one. Was the gym?
What does it do?
They own a different, like a chain of different gyms, like one just for
Okay,
rowing,
Lifetime
one for
Fitness.
boxing, just specialized ones. Their stock have done really well. I forgot,
Yeah,
but
so it's
yeah,
not like just tech.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, definitely not just tech. We're definitely seeing some big moves in biotech, even though it pulled back a lot in the past 2 weeks. Like some of the
yeah.
biggest moves this year have been in biotech.
Again, it kind of goes with
Yeah.
the profitable tech, the biotech. That you got to pick the ones that are profitable. It seems like, or
Or the ones that
truly.
have the biggest potential and the biggest short float, because
The other one I thought was interesting was Uber.
oh yeah, big
I don't
comeback,
own it, but
almost back.
it's interesting because they do a lot of the successful drivers now get Teslas from Uber. And what's interesting is the satisfaction is way up because you're driving a Tesla and the drivers are saying that it's $10 a day versus $70 a day.
Wow, that's a huge
Right.
difference.
And it's interesting, the driver was telling my wife that because electricity price, because he has to fill it, he charges his at 3 a.m. So there's workarounds, but like the Tesla stuff is so overrun and the electricity prices are they can gouge you at the wrong time. But look at this company, what they've figured out, and this is $87 billion company.
It could easily
So
double, I think, from here. Look at their numbers, how much they're improving,
yeah,
earnings and sales.
if they truly show a profit, the stock will double, just because the brand. And they've stayed out of trouble for the last, I don't know, since Dara's kept their name out of the headlines. And the Tesla thing, Tesla and the cabs, it really is a price difference for the actual driver. So
It will be interesting if the self-driving technology improves enough. For example, if Tesla decides we're going to enter the Uber business and we're going to be the next
they
Uber.
don't have to. The Uber's buying the cars and just and leasing them to
As
the
of now, but
drivers.
at some point,
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
I'll let everybody get to bed. Thanks. I have,
Thank you,
when are you
Howard.
back?
I'll be back next Sunday.
All right, awesome. All
All
right,
right.
everybody, have a good week.
See you next week. Bye.